Okay. This is really an unusual thing to happen, but today is also the very first day of Hanukkah. And Hanukkah means, it's a Hebrew word that means dedication. So just if we said dedication is what Hanukkah. So if you were in Israel and everybody says Hanukkah, they are saying dedication. It is the feast of dedication. And I have a very small story, so I'm not going to take a lot of time. I can stand over here because we're going to light one light because it's the very first night. I don't really need that. So Hanukkah was before Christmas. And it happened about 200 years before Christmas, before Jesus came, about 165. It's 165 BC. And there was a group of people called the Seleucids. They were Syrians and Greeks, and they were very secular. If you think of like Greek mythology with Zeus and Neptune and all of the different gods that the Greeks worshipped, it was very, very secular. A lot like actually our world today is very secular. And we can have Christmas and never really even hear about Jesus being born in the world. So at that time, they ruled over Israel. And they actually had the temple that was built for God, the temple where the priests offered all of the sacrifices. And they were in charge. So they offered sacrifices to the idols, like Zeus. And they offered unclean animals, which according to the Bible, God's people are always to be holy, as he's holy. And we're supposed to be separate. And they offered unclean animals to these unclean secular gods. Well, there was still a small little group of people that God had. God always has a remnant, a little small group of people. And they said, God is holy, and we are not serving these other gods, because there was such pressure to serve these other gods, because these other people were in political power. Just like it's been a little tense sometimes to even say Merry Christmas. And we feel a little more freedom this year because everybody's been talking about it. But it was really impressive. And the small group of people, they were called the Maccabees. It was a family. Matthias, if I'm saying it right, Maccabee. His son Judah. Sometimes it's the children that will say, I've had it with that. And so his son Judah and his brothers and an army, they all said, we are going to take the temple back. We're going to take the country back. Well, there's a little family and a small group of loyal people to God who worship the true and living God. And so they had the whole Greek army, who had metal and things like this. And through a miracle, they were able to take back the country, take back the temple, and they started to clean it out. So this is called a Feast of Dedication because they started cleaning out. And in all of these stories, I love the Old Testament, because in all of these stories of things that happen to real people, there's always a spiritual meaning. And the spiritual meaning is, we are the temple. We are a temple. And every one of us have been desecrated. Every one of us. And we have to come to Jesus. And we have to actually work with Jesus sometimes. Clean out all of the garbage. Clean out all of the unholy things. And we have to rededicate ourselves to him. Well, when they were cleaning out the temple, they had taken off the golden candelabra. And if you remember, when it talks about how the temple was built, there was a 7-branch candelabra. So this is not it. This is a Hanukkah candle, our dedication candle. And what this was, I left this one burning. This is oil. I left it burning because this represents the servant. And this represents Jesus to me. For a Jewish person, it just means it was a bottle of oil. What happened is they found one little baby bottle of oil in the temple that still had a seal on it, holy to the Lord. And so they were going to light the 7-branch menorah. We have one somewhere, but they're going to light that. But it would have only lasted one day. And so what they do to celebrate this great dedication and the miracle is they take the one servant candle, and every single day they light, if I can make it light. I did it once. Okay. These were new candles. I found them and I loved them because they were clear like the candelabra. So every day they light a candle, because what happened is that little bottle of oil lasted 8 days. Exactly to the T how long it takes for the purified oil that was mentioned as was given to Moses in the Old Testament. That oil, it took 8 days to prepare that, to be offered up wholly to the Lord. Each one of us, if we accept Jesus in our heart, if we dedicate our lives to him, he fills us with the oil of the Holy Spirit. And I'm telling you, no matter what happens in your life, the oil of the Holy Spirit will last. It will come in, and it will undergird you. It will hold you up. The Holy Spirit will help you, and it will keep going. And so, for a believer in Jesus, the Feast of Dedication is really all about the servant candle who came to the world. It actually happened on the 25th of Kislev, which is the calendar. We have Christmas on the 25th of December, because isn't this a coincidence, right? But this is representing dedication, and today is the very first day of the Day of Dedication. Next Sunday will be the 8th day, and we'll have all of these lit, I'm hoping, next Sunday. But anyway, God bless you. And just take a moment, to say, God, this is a time of giving gifts. And he gave gifts to us. God has done so many things for us. Actually, on Hanukkah, he gave us our house. I actually made up a song. I should have wrote it all down. On the first day of Hanukkah, blah, 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 blah. Because one day, the people agreed to sell the house. One day, every day was a miracle. And on the last day, we got the keys. So it was like, this is like amazing. But every year, I light candles, and I'm just saying, God, I'm dedicating myself to you for this coming year. And the other thing is there's presents given. And I'll ask God, what do you want from me today? And sometimes it's like, well, just, sing a little song. I get this idea. I don't always get it all at once, but sometimes he gives me a little idea. And then it's like you just wait. You wait and see what God does for you in the next 8 days, because he gives gifts to his people. And I just bless you, and Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, honey. That was wonderful. Wow. Wasn't that special? Some deep meaning, you see, in these things that have been going on for such a long time. And now we see the beauty of it. We see the fulfillment. We see how it really was the picture of Jesus, and he's the perfect one that modeled it for us and